Hello chess friends and welcome to the channel. Today we will talk about Alireza Firouzja, the 16 years old Iranian Grandmaster and chess prodigy that last month surpassed the 2700 Elo rating barrier. Firouzja is the third rated junior in the world behind the Chinese Wei Yi and the American Jeffrey Xiong. In today's video we will watch together his game in round 1 of the Fide World Cup. His opponent is Pashikian, Armenian chess champion, chess national champion 2 times, with a rating of 2599. So let's get started. Firouzja with the white pieces opens with the Reti, knight to f3. Black answers with d5 and here comes e3. Not the most common of the moves. So in my database I found that Nakamura played 5 games this year with this setup, but they are not classical games, they are all rapid and blitz games, but they are 5 victories. So let's go on with this game. Knight to f6, c4 now attacking the center, e6 and knight to c3. So again I open my database and the funny thing is that Nakamura also played a lot of games from the black side of this position. He was able to draw some of them but never to win. So after knight to c3, Nakamura likes to play bishop to e7. I prefer bishop to d6 and Pashikian prefers what he played, that is c5. C captures on d5, e captures on d5 and here comes the d4 push. Knight to c6 adding even more pressure in the center, also of course developing an important piece. Bishop to b5 pinning the knight and here comes c captures on d4. D captures on d4, now 2 pieces are attacking c6, so here comes bishop to d7 defending c6. Short castle, bishop to d6, and what to do now? So let's watch a bit this position. Black has this isolated pawn, so he changing pieces long term will favor white, but not now on c6 because Black will recapture with the b pawn that will become a c6 pawn and the isolated pawn will disappear. This position, so what to play? Bishop to d2 makes no sense because this bishop belongs to this long beautiful diagonal, so should go to b2. So in this position b3 is a good move to play and then bishop to d2. Firouzja continues with the most played move, another good move, that is knight back to f3. Now this knight and the queen are attacking the isolated pawn that can't advance because d4 is well protected. So here comes bishop to e6 protecting d5. b3 now, this is the idea that we talked about, and short castle for black. Bishop to b2, rook to c8, beautiful position for the rook. Rook to c1, same idea, to control the open file. And in this position Pashikian continues with a good move, knight to e5. This is a novelty because bishop to g4 was played in the only game that I have in database. Both are good moves and the game in this position is almost equal. So how to continue? Firouzja continues with the good move, knight to d4 that blocks this isolated pawn. Also is watching e6, but not with the idea of changing this knight on the bishop for the same reason. So here comes a6, bishop back to e2 and bishop back to b8. Now here comes knight to a4. So this is a move with both pros and cons. It's clear that now this rook has a free way here on this c file and this is okay. Also this move clears the long diagonal for the bishop, but this knight on a4 is not really well placed. So here comes queen to d6, the queen in the center, and f4. Where to put this knight? Black continues with knight back to d7. This is just a bit passive. Let's go back one move. Knight to g6 is the best move because of course white can't play the fork, because after the fork the queen captures with check and checkmate will come. So after knight to g6, bishop to d3 seems one of the best moves. b5, knight back, rook in f goes to e8, black is perfectly fine, if not even a little bit better. But let's go back to our game. We said Firouzja pushed with the f4 pawn, this knight moves back to d7. Bishop to f3 now, and not to d2, because this knight, no knight can jump to bother this bishop. And here comes b5, hitting the knight. Knight back to c3, knight to c5, because also this knight was completely blocking with the pawn the way back for the bishop. And here comes knight to c2. The idea is clear, is to relocate this knight to g3. Black continues with bishop to d7. That strategically is also a good idea, but in this position doesn't work. What is the idea? The idea is to clear this e file, put the rook on e8, where the rook is targeting the weak e3 pawn. But there is no time for that, because with this maneuver, this d5 pawn will go under fire very soon. So bishop to d7, knight to g3, here comes rook in f, goes to e8, attacking the pawn, but now it's this knight that will jump to f5, attacking the queen, and there is also this reload, so if captured, there is the capture. This pawn is under attack, the queen and the knight are protecting this pawn, and also now the long diagonal is almost clear. This bishop is watching f6. So what to do now? The queen is under attack, the queen is helping the knight protecting this isolated pawn, but moving away the queen is not an option. Let's watch what happens after queen to e6, still protecting the knight, still protecting this pawn. But here comes bishop to d4, knight to e4, knight captures on e7. Of course, this knight must be captured. Here comes bishop capture, because this knight is pinned, but this move now doesn't work because this knight is protected twice. So bishop captures on e4, removes one of the defender of the pinned piece. Rook captures because this queen is watching from far the bishop on b7. Queen captured. Now the d pawn recaptures at least the piece here on e4, but here comes knight to h5 with check, king to f8, knight capture, and in this position white is already winning. Rook to c8, but here comes queen to c1, and this maneuver e1, h4, h7 will win the game. It's more than +9. So going back to our game, when this knight jump to f5, best idea is to remove the knight. Bishop captures on f5, but there is the knight that recaptures, again attacking the queen, also protecting e3. Queen to e6 now, it's better than before because there is not the other knight. So here comes g4 that keeps this position richer than another variation that I'm going to show you. Let's go back one move. We said this queen not only is protecting, also attacking this unprotected knight. It's possible now to play bishop captures on f6, and of course now the queen must capture the bishop, and with queen captures on d5, white wins a pawn, also is protecting this knight. White is better. These rooks can't bother this queen because the queen because this rook can't move, or the queen will capture the knight. This rook can't move because the queen will move here, and this queen will be exchanged. So in this position white is better, but it seems that black can hold. Going back to our game, after queen to e6, protecting everything, also attacking this knight, g4 seems to me that keeps more ideas on the board. So here comes bishop to d6, knight captures, queen captures, and let's watch again this position. Now white is clearly better because two bishops against two knights, one isolated pawn with only two minor pieces on the board. So here comes g5, knight jump to e4, and now let's notice another thing. If this knight was not here, then white can play a simple nice tactic. At first, let's imagine that this knight is not here. Let's imagine, for example, it's here. Rook captures. Rook captures. This rook was protecting this knight, and now the simple bishop captures. this knight because the pawn is pinned, the queen is unprotected behind the pawn. So just let's notice this idea. But this position before removing this knight doesn't work because the knight can jump to a4 targeting this unprotected bishop. So let's go back to our game. So what to play? Bishop to e5 attacking the queen, queen back to d8, now bishop to g4 targeting the rook, rook to a8. Now this position Firouzja continues with queen to d4. Of course the idea is that the battery queen and bishop are attacking g7. Let's go back one move. Another idea is b4 now, but not for the tactic, but because after rook to c6 white has the chance to double the heavy pieces on the c file, and this is a great advantage, or at least a good advantage. And another idea is to play h4 first. But let's go back to our game. We said queen to d4. So how to answer to this threat? Pashikian continues with f6. This is a good move. Let's go back one move and let's watch what the computer thinks that it's the best defense. Stockfish prefers to sacrifice the exchange here on e5. The queen, of course, can't capture because there is the knight fork. So f captures on e5. Queen captures on g5, also attacking this pinned knight, sorry, this pinned bishop. So what to do? Rook to f4 protecting the bishop. Seems that h5 now is winning, completely winning the piece. But here comes queen captures on d5, not only attacking this unprotected rook, but also threatening this terrible check. So rook to f8, saving the rook and also saving f7. Here comes b4. This knight is also protecting this other knight after knight to e6. Of course, black will capture here, white will capture on e4 and remains better. So even this defense with this quality sacrifice here, with this exchange sacrifice, doesn't work so well. White is still better. Going back to the game, after queen to d4 with the bishop attacking g7, black continues with f6, and here comes g captures on f6. A little improvement instead of g captures is rook captures on c5, now f captures on e5, queen captures with check, queen captures, rook captures, e captures, and white is a pawn up and also better. But let's go back to our game. G captures on f6 is not terrible, playable. So here comes G captures on f6 and rook captures on c5. So this is the critical moment of the game. The best defense for black is to capture here with the f pawn on e5, and we will have something similar than what we just watched in the variation that I showed you before. Queen captures with check, queen captures, rook captures, e captures. Now white is still a pawn up, but not with the perfect structure that there was before, but there is still the bishop against the knight, still better activity for the rooks, and this is a position that for black is playable, but surely a difficult position to hold. Let's go back to our game. After rook captures on c5, so we said this pawn capture is the best capture, but here comes a terrible blunder. Knight captures on c5 and bishop captures on f6, now targeting the queen. Also this knight is under attack, so queen to d6, because also this pawn, if the queen moves away, was under attack, so the queen is defending both the knight and the pawn. Here comes bishop back to e5 and queen to g6, attacking this bishop that can't move away because he's pinned. f5, the bishop is now protected and this pawn move comes with tempo. Queen to f7, still protecting this pawn, but how to win the game now as white? Let's watch a couple of moves. Firouzja continues with bishop to f3, and we already noticed the strong idea to capture here with this bishop, winning the queen. Going back one move, king to h1 with the idea, of course, of rook to g1 is another good and safe move, but there is another move that is really a fantastic idea. Let's watch this variation. Bishop to h5 attacking with the bishop emprise attacking both the queen and the rook. This is a really strong deflection. If the queen moves away, after queen to g4 we check, is already a forced checkmate. King to f8, f6, queen to d7, bishop to d6 we check, another deflection, and because the king can't move, the queen must capture, and queen to g7 is checkmate. So after bishop to h5, black is forced to capture this bishop. Queen captures on h5. Now queen captures on d5 we check, also attacking this knight. The knight moves back to shield the king. Now rook to f2, clear idea is to play rook to g2. Rook in a goes to d8, is not enough. Rook to g2 we check, king to f8, bishop to d6 we check, rook captures. Queen captures we check, rook to e7. After f captures on e6 is already a forced checkmate because the queen will move to d8 we check, the pawn will advance giving another check. This is already game over. So beautiful idea, but after we said king to f7, Firouzja continued with another strong move, bishop back to f3 with the idea of capturing and winning the queen. So knight jump to e4, bishop captures, d captures, and king to h1 with the idea again of rook to g1 we check. Rook to e6, and this move, of course now this pawn can't capture because it's pinned to the rook. This move prevents this idea. How is it possible? Let's watch, because if rook to g1 now, this rook can move to g6, and if f captures, there is the perpetual check, queen to f3 we check, rook to g2, queen to f1, rook to g1, etc, etc. So rook to e6 prevents rook to g1 we check, but there is another move that Firouzja finds that is crushing. This move is queen to d5 with tempo against the rook, pinning the rook on e6, and in this position Pashikian resigns. But let's make another couple of moves. Rook in a goes to e8 is one of the best answers. Here comes rook to g1 we check, and if rook to g6 now, here comes queen captures, king captures, f captures we check, h captures, and white is a piece up. After rook to g1 we check, if the king moves away, bishop to d6 we check, rook captures, queen captures we check, rook to e7, f6, and the rook is lost, and so the game. So an interesting game in the Reti, and what do you think? I hope that you liked the video. Let me know in the comments down below. Firouzja was then able in game 2 to draw the game, so he won the match against Pashikian, and today he will play the second round of the World Cup. Our video is over. I thank you very much for watching and see you later with another game, of course, of the World Cup 2019. Goodbye.